Are we ready? First of all, I want to thank you for giving me the honor of swearing in our ninth member of the Board of Trustees. We're very happy to have you and look forward to working with you. And you've got a great group here in support of you. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I am duly qualified according to the Constitution of this state to exercise the duties of the office to which I have been elected, and that I will, to the best of my ability, discharge the duties thereof, and preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of this state and of the United States. So help me God. Thank you. Congratulations.
I will call to order the February 13th, 2023 Board of Trustees Special Called Meeting. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
I make motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second, but I have a question about item 3A. Just wondering why it's there.
Following protocol that we learned about at our meeting, the motion would be to suspend the policy BD only as it refers to the vice chair, because we found out state law requires the chair to be elected.
Gotcha.
Point of information.
Mhm.
You found this out when?
About the law. When we discussed the policy changes from Mr. Kelly last month.
And I think also, I'm sorry, I think.
Yes,
also
she
it's
has
not-
the floor. Yeah, but I'll
Sure.
get to you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we are all looking at the correct agenda. There's been multiple changes to the agenda over the weekend. So I just want to make sure that something that was not on the agenda when you met in cabinet, that we are all looking at the same agenda.
Right, so the agenda I am referring to is the Board of Trustees special called meeting.
Correct.
When did it change?
When did, let me get to Ms. Waters and then I'll come back to you. Ms. Waters?
Just a note that members of the public had shared with me that it wasn't on the public facing side, so we might just want to tighten that up moving forward.
It was supposed to be. Mr. Calhoun,
When I was presented the agenda the other day, this was not on there. That's why I'm asking, when did it change?
right, the 24, more, it was 48 hours out.
Okay, just for the record, it wasn't done in cabinet and it was done over the weekend. We need to be mindful moving forward that everything needs to be done. And if it's changed, that the board members need to be properly notified as well. Thank you.
Duly and fairly noted. All right, there is a motion on the floor to adopt the agenda. Is there a second?
I second it.
Ms. Waters seconds it. please cast your vote, and then after you cast it, please confirm its correctness.
Madam Chair, that's the wrong agenda.
The one on the screen is
Yes, ma'am.
correct.
That's the committee of the whole.
Are all votes recorded? Okay. Thank you. Okay, and the motion passes. So we are on item 3 now, suspension of policy BD. I move to suspend policy BD only as it refers to the election of the vice chair.
A second.
Are there questions? Okay, we will call for the vote. Please cast your vote and then confirm your vote for its accuracy. And the motion passes. We are on to the election of board officers, election of the board chair.
I nominate Ed Kelly.
Second.
And
We
I-
don't need a second for nominations. The
I'd like to-
nomination is from
I nominate Ed Kelly.
Ms. Roberson.
I'd like to also make a nomination. I'd like to nominate Pam McKinney.
Are there any other nominations? And that was Ms. Watley. Okay. All right, so we will vote on the first nomination first. The nomination of Ed Kelly. We didn't need a second for the nomination, so
That's why they said her name.
oh, to be able to open, okay, thank you. And 5 yay, the motion passes. So Mr. Kelly, I will turn the gavel over to you.
Thank you. Item 4B has been suspended. So we move to item 5 for adjournment. Do I hear a motion? We are adjourned.
Do I
Madam
have a
Chair.
motion?
Yeah, I move that we go into executive session for a legal brief.
Okay, we have to take a vote on that. We second it?
This is
I second it.
just for context, this is needs a 2/3 majority because it's not on the current agenda.
Okay, you should see your window pop up in a minute to vote on it. And please look, once the vote comes up, that your vote is accurate.
I believe Ms. Robertson.
All right, the motion carries. We will reconvene shortly
second.
after our legal briefing. Excuse me.
I'm not getting a vote. I think
Did you select it?
I don't have a vote. It never popped up for me.
Mr. Calhoun is bringing it to the attention that the window for his vote never popped up.
So this is the issue I'm having right now.
Right here, the featured. Okay,
Right
there.
one.
And then right there.
I got it.
Got
I'm
it?
not in
And
the
then
system
Right there.
to join the meeting. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not getting all of the documents. They just had to print out the documents for me that was inside of this. So y'all's board docs is different from mine. So right now it's even saying 8 yay and zero not present at the vote. I'm not adding it to the committee of the whole on this.
Ms. Trudy, did you get all of that?
But I will say, yes, for the,
Can you do a voice vote?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll be back momentarily. Gentlemen, I just want to thank you for being patient. We apologize. That's going on. It seems that we've had a FOIA issue arise that's come to our attention. And with that said, do I hear of a motion on the floor?
Yeah, yes, Madam Chair. Do you mind if I address the public first? Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so there was a discrepancy in the agenda for the special call session between what was published online and what was posted at the bulletin board here in the building. So we are going to deal with that by having a special called meeting again sometime in the next probably week or so, where we will, of course, give public notice to the public so that we can, the 24 hours that are required. So we will deal with that. That was specifically in regard to the change of the suspension of policy BD. With that, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt an amended agenda for the COW meeting tonight and only address item 3, A and B, so that we can hear from the public. But because of the discrepancy with the agenda, we take no further action tonight.
I second. Or Courtney, was that you? Okay, Courtney Waters second.
Yeah, I need a voice. vote.
Oh, Ms. Trudy, I believe we're doing voice vote on this. We're going to start with Chair 1.
Yay.
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 Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
It's unanimous. So I'd like to make a motion for the board members. This is not something that's been discussed. Considering the circumstances and all of these people have taken their time to come and be in person, I'd like to take a vote. My motion is to take a vote to extend the public comment portion beyond 30 so that everybody has an opportunity to be heard this evening. So we have a second. Ms. Waters seconded. And we'll take a voice vote on that. We'll start with Mr. Bobrowski.
Yay. Yay.
Yay.
yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
With that, the motion carries. We will hear everyone that signed up to speak. Yeah, so the time limit, Superintendent Kennedy, on the policy, it typically states 1 minute for over 30. Are we sticking with 1 minute for each person? Okay, that's still going to take us close to an hour. So everyone that has signed up to speak publicly, I'll call your name and you'll have 1 minute to express your comment. Do you want to? You want to call their names? Yeah, you go forward with the online public comments and I'll do this. You go first. Yeah.
Okay, I want to address the online public comments. Because we had over 64 online public comments, we're going to briefly state what they were. For prayer at meetings, there were 2 comments: indoctrination 1, EL 57, African American Studies 2, community outreach 1, and Greg Mathis Charter 1 comment.
Was there okay. So first, I'd like to call up Elizabeth Watson for her public comment. Is Elizabeth, Ms. Watson, are you still here?
Yes, hello.
Hi. And in case you did.
My minute didn't just start, did it?
No. I'm not going to do that to you. Can we have the time clock, please? Reflect on the screen. Okay.
Awesome. Hello, I am Elizabeth Watson. I am the theater teacher at E.B. Ellington Elementary, and I am here to speak on how this current EL curriculum lends itself to arts integration. It is pretty much in a lot of ways already kind of mapped out for us as related arts teachers. For example, me as a theater teacher in Unit 2 of the 5th grade curriculum, they read a book called Esperanza Rising. And written into the curriculum was that each student would write and then perform their own monologue from the perspective of a character from that book. So that was an opportunity for me easily to push into the classroom, help the students not only formulate what a monologue should look like, but also help them in respects to their performance for their final project. Thank you.
Thank you. And next will be Sarah Thompson.
My name is Sarah Thompson, and I've been a teacher in CCSD since 1999. I am currently a first grade teacher at Mitchell Elementary and Acceleration School. I've seen many curriculums come and go, but the EL curriculum has been very beneficial for my students and one I value the most. I could tell you all the ways it has helped, but at this point, I don't think you care. Please consider making EL optional instead of canceling it altogether. I've spent many hours planning, prepping materials, delivering this amazing reading program to my students. I have taken the first part of the letters training, and everything that I've learned so far directly correlates with the EL curriculum. Why should we use ESSER funds to pay teachers to take letters and then get rid of a program that supports everything we've learned? Thank you, Mr. Kennedy, for visiting Mitchell Elementary. Thank you for speaking with teachers and engaging with students all over the school district. It is apparent that you care about all students and providing the best education possible.
Our next comment, please forgive me if I mispronounce your last name, but Marianne Mouthan?
Hello, I am Marianne Moton, teacher librarian at Ellington Elementary. School libraries help to transform learning, and the best school librarians are able to collaborate with teachers in order to ensure that students can access the vast tools and resources available. However, time to collaborate can be hard to find. The EL curriculum has allowed for school librarians to easily and consistently see the scope and sequence of every grade level's lessons. This allows us to effectively plan library lessons, pull resources, and prepare students for performance tasks. When students see the connection between classroom and library learning, it deepens understanding and ignites more student curiosity. For example, currently in the library, upper grade students are exploring topics that they are passionate about, such as robotics, music as therapy, and coding. They are then researching the topic, connecting with community resources, and creating products like prototypes, rhetorical proposals, and video games that show their learning. EL has been a springboard for this deep, authentic research. This connection helps students strengthen their information literacy skills, a skill that is greatly needed in regards to discerning information as they learn about the community and the world around them. The goal of teachers is to create lifelong learners with real applicable skills, and the EL curriculum does just that.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to call out three names and you guys can just line up behind one another. Jennifer Bermudez, Devlin, Devaney, I'm so sorry if I say your names wrong. Jubilee Leong.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Bermudez, a third grade teacher at Mitchell Elementary, and this is my second year teaching the EL curriculum. After launching the EL curriculum, our students became more engaged in their learning because each unit of study focuses on a central topic. Students have rich conversations, deepening their comprehension of grade level text. EL exposed my students to topics that make them ethical people and understand how people around the world live. The first topic that I teach focuses on learning challenges that children face. Because of this topic, it broadened my students' perspectives, exposed them to other cultures, created empathy, and made them appreciate how great schools are at CCSD. Without units like this, my students wouldn't recognize the struggles many other countries face. This unit also brings to light that everyone has challenges, and it teaches them to persevere. This was impactful for my students and created a sense of community in the classroom where they supported each other in achieving their goals. I have seen reading, writing, emotional, and personal growth in my students since deploying this curriculum and would love to see how continuing EL will close the achievement gap in my students and students throughout CCSD.
Thank you.
Devlin, Devaney.
Hi, I am the music teacher and related arts team lead for EB Ellington. I wanted to speak on how EL creates authentic, relevant opportunities for arts integration because we've seen firsthand in our school how integrating the arts allows students to make meaningful, long-lasting connections with their content. The arts are embedded throughout EL, so we as arts teachers have been finding ways to align our targets with those in EL. It adds relevancy to what they're learning and reinforces the arts and general education standards. This year, we have done a kindergarten EL Weather Wonders module with the rhythm versus beat unit, and we were able to make rain sticks and perform what we learned on the winter showcase. Our visual arts teacher worked with the 5th grade in module 2 to research characteristics of animals found in the rainforest. Then she used their knowledge, to do standards centered on making intentional decisions about texture, color, and shape when painting these animals. The EL curriculum is allowing our students to make connections across subjects and disciplines, and I have to add that it is building relationships and community between our arts teachers and the general education teachers. Thank you.
My name is Jubilee Lee Young. I am the 4th grade advanced studies teacher at EB Ellington Elementary. Created by teachers for teachers, the EL curriculum provides quality and rigorous educational experiences for all students. The curriculum challenges students to think and develop their own perspectives about the world around them. It exposes students to continuous critical and analytical thinking throughout their work each day. EL also exposes students to the outside world in a respectful yet rigorous and engaging way. If you take away this curriculum, you not only tell teachers that their hard work and implementation does not matter, you also tell a select group of students that they don't deserve a quality and rigorous educational experience.
The next 3 names, Cash Hamlin, Alice DeBro, Shalandria Middleton.
Hello, I am Kashay Hamlin, from 4th grade teacher from EB Ellington. And this is actually my induction year as an educator for Charleston County. It was very daunting to think about teaching, prepping, and preparing for all 4 subjects. Luckily, my school had just adopted the new EL curriculum. Now that curriculum is laid out, like those before me have said, full of protocols and practices that I could implement in the classroom, things that will help me as a new teacher focus on classroom management and also ways to check for understanding in my students. The EL curriculum has helped me tailor my teaching to my students' learning. Not only is the EL curriculum full of resources, there is also an interactive component called KIDM that the students are using in the classroom that I am using newly in the classroom as well. It is a new curriculum that is guiding and fostering growth in teachers and students.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alice Debro, and I teach at EB Ellington, and I teach 5th grade. I've been teaching for about 38 years, and this has been the most comprehensive program for teaching children to have a voice for their future. I've seen children who come to school as not readers, and what they do is they get so engaged in the program. The vocabulary is full of enrichment. They understand when I talk about a deeper dive, they begin to look at 2 different texts and compare them and do so many critical thinking experiences that these children are just totally engaged. My children ask for reading time. They enjoy the reading time. I've seen their voice in their writing, using the vocabulary, the critical thinking skills, all of that is put into their writing, as well as evidence that supports the text. I'm very proud of my students.
Hey everyone, my name is Shalandria Middleton. This is also my first year, so I'm growing. I came from EB Ellington Elementary also. So yeah, so as a new teacher coming into the school year, EL was extremely beneficial for the fourth graders that I have. This curriculum allows students to critically think about the author's perspectives and how it can connect to their experiences, what they're dealing with now. Also, it helped them grow tremendously from being able to write complete sentences, analyzing poems, building fluency, and creating their own stories. All the EL trainings that I attended has molded me tremendously to understand and scaffold different unique ways and models that can help me grow as an instructor. Also, my students, beginning the school year, they struggled tremendously. They were unable to connect with the EL, but being that we implemented it, it all changes. And I just want to say that EL is definitely not needed to be taken away. And that's it. Sorry.
Next up, James Dallas, Jay Britt, Megan, is it Kanye?
Good evening. As an educator with 34 years of experience, I must admit my complete dismay at the mere thought of excluding a curriculum that brings culture into the classroom and that honors the lived experiences of our students and their families. Perhaps the most salient aspects of our job is to encourage all students' cultural awareness, enhance their sense of identity, and promote perspective taking in the classroom. It is a responsibility of all of us to make sure that we do our part to move our students closer and closer to their culture, not far from it. By excluding EL, this is exactly what we're doing. That slow drip of oppression and this leaky faucet of denialism will only hurt our children and make them feel invisible. Where do we turn off the faucet for our kids? When do we stop playing politics with their future? Why is it that we are more concerned about the voices of a few rather than honor and celebrate the perspectives of thousands of children who walk our halls each day? I respectfully request that before making the decision to remove EL from our curriculum, that you take time to visit schools and talk to teachers about the authenticity and connections that they see from their students. And finally, be bold and courageous and resist the temptation to hinder our students from engaging in discourse that is designed to help them learn more about themselves and others and the world around them. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jalea Britt. I'm a fifth grader at EB Ellington. I would like to tell you how EL inspired me to read more. The book that we read in our class was Esperanza Rising by Pam Ryan. It relates to my life and everything about it. In the book, 13-year-old Esperanza was responsible for taking care of her young friend babies. She was responsible for cooking and cleaning. I felt that was unfair to Esperanza because she was so young and had to do adult chores. It relates to my life because I had to take care of my baby cousin and cook and clean when my family wasn't there. I love to read books that I can relate to and I can see myself and my experience in. So if the books that I love to read would not be available for me to grab anytime, I would be sad.
Hello, I'm Megan Coyne, a fifth grade teacher at EB Ellington, and I'm here today to explain the impact of the EL curriculum on my students' writing. It is my second year at this school, but seventh year teaching fifth grade, and I have seen a huge difference in my students and their work. Being able to read texts about topics that are important and relatable to my students has helped them become better writers. When I first started at Ellington, I had fifth graders that couldn't write a single complete sentence. Now I have students writing a variety of prompts and doing extremely well. Having my students become writers isn't just about academics. It's about giving them a voice and a way to express themselves. Many students struggle with their emotions and expressing how they feel and what they think. By giving them the opportunity to write is giving them a way of showing their thoughts and feelings on various topics. I highly encourage and ask for your support in holding on to our EL curriculum. Thank you.
Thank you. Juanasia Willis, Sarah Vasquez, and Jared Hove.
My name is Cornelia. I'm a fifth grader at EB Ellington. When I read Esperanza Rising by Pam Ryan, it inspired me to learn how to stick up for myself and to learn how to do things on my own. When I read the book Esperanza, spoke up because Mexican people couldn't do certain things. When Esperanza moved to California, they couldn't get jobs because they were Mexican. This made me realize I can stand up for myself at town hall meeting. For example, I brought attention to the adults that we should have extra recess. When I read Esperanza Rising, she had to learn how to make food by herself and change babies. I could connect to Esperanza because I cook and clean for myself and take care of my body. This book inspired me more than other books because I have read in the past, because I can relate to the text. That's why y'all should not take EL from us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah Vasquez. I am a fifth grader at EB Ellington. I want to tell you how Esperanza Rising by Pam Eunice Ryan inspired me. It inspired me because Miguel wanted a job, but he couldn't get it. One, because he was Mexican. I can relate to this because my dad wanted a job, but he couldn't get it because he is Mexican. It was harder for him because he is Mexican, and the jobs he wanted, he said no Mexicans allowed. This made me feel like my dad was discriminated against because of his skin color. I felt I was being discriminated against too. My life was hard because I am Mexican and felt ashamed of my color. I had a situation like this when me and my friend were at the mall, and a person came up to her and said, "You should go back to your country." I stuck up for her and said, "You should not judge someone by their look and how they act. If you take EL away from me, I cannot learn from this, and I would not read and learn something new every day." Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Jared. I'm not from EB Ellington, but I'm a parent and I'm from Cajun. EL curriculum, does it work? It's research-based and rigorous. Third-party evaluations show it improves outcomes. District data shows it works here. What about the money? Moving away from the curriculum would be throwing away millions of dollars with no promise of better outcomes. What's at stake? My children are in CCSD elementary schools. Across the district, about half of them and their peers meet or exceed ELA readiness. But my children are white. If I filter for this, actually 77% of them and their white peers meet or exceed standards. If my children were Black, the number would be 23%. That's not woke, that's the data that should make us all want to do better for all students. My children have many resources that reflect their life experiences, but not all their friends look like them, not all their friends' families look like our family. Every child deserves to be seen in the curriculum like EL.
Keon Stephen, Catherine Flanders, Jennifer Baez.
Hi, my name is Astrid from EV Ellington, and I will tell you about Esperanza Rising by Pam Ryan. It interested me because it spilled the tea, like gave secrets out. I love when the characters give secrets out. One of the secrets is when they told Esperanza that her dad got shot because of bandits. Esperanza's dad had brothers who were the ones who found Esperanza's dad shot on the floor. I felt bad for Esperanza because she and her dad were close to each other. The more interested I am in the book, the more I read. The more I read, the more models I can give to my writing, which I want people to love and read. Don't take away books from kids like me who want to be a writer. Thank you.
Award-winning, nationally acclaimed. Those are the words we should want associated with Charleston County schools.
In the EL education schools, students undertake tasks that require perseverance, mental fitness, craftsmanship, imagination, self-discipline, and significant achievement. A teacher's primary task is to help students overcome their fears and discover they can do more than they think they can. Gone are the days where historically oppressed minority communities are provided with texts that reference only a downtrodden past. EL purposefully selects texts that cast a positive light on what these communities have done and can do. Instead of allowing rhetoric that tells white children they should be afraid or fearful, we should be encouraging them to embrace inclusion and be a change maker, ensuring a better future for all. If the education of our neediest students improves, our overall society improves. For years, this population has struggled academically, and now with proven success, will you as a board stand and look them in the face and say you don't matter? If you are in support of EL, stand with me and let our board tell us that the removal of curriculum is unacceptable.
Beth Dillenkoffer, Kelly Stelcup, Kasia Gathers.
Superintendent, board members, good evening. My name is Beth Dillenkoffer. I'm the interim principal at James Simmons Montessori School, and I've been with CCSD for 19 years. I come before you this evening because I want the same thing you do. We, all of us, want the best education for our children. Implementing EL in a Montessori school with multi-age classrooms has been difficult and messy and clumsy, and I'd be lying if I said otherwise. But it has also been extraordinarily rewarding for our students and our teachers. Our teachers are learning best practices, protocols, and strategies based on the science of teaching and learning reading that they can use in all their classes. In fact, we're using them in some of our special area classes and faculty meetings as well. Our students are engaging in high quality collaborative work and producing some of the finest writing I've seen. We've never had an ELA curriculum that covers the entire span of our building, primary through adolescence. All students deserve this high quality work. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. I'm Kelly Stalkup. I'm the literacy coach at Hunley Park Elementary. I'm here today to speak in support of the EL curriculum. I have celebrated the growth of our students with them. And yes, our data is improving, but more importantly, I'm here to give a voice to our students. I'm here because it is what is right for our children. Our children seeing themselves in the books that they read, they are learning and growing. You know the numbers, you have seen the data. I'm asking you to see the children behind those numbers. The children who are seeing themselves in the books they are reading, the children who are having rich discussions and writing like they've never written before. I'm asking you to see their smiling, proud faces when they present their work to parents at events. Our children are the heart of our work, and they deserve a voice. We stand as that voice. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm struggling to find the right words to express my sentiment regarding the removal of the EL curriculum from our schools. I carefully chose my words to convince the board that taking EL from my school or any other school is not in the best interest of its students. I thought about sharing the data that indicates student academic proficiency has increased last year 10.2%, but I am confident that the data has already been shared with all of you. This is not about student outcomes. I would not be standing here if it were. This is an example of biased politics spilling over into our schools and classrooms. If we allow politics to suppress the systemic growth of our students, limit the sense of belonging students feel when they see themselves in the literature we teach, and devalue the time our teachers have spent learning this curriculum, we severely impact the future of our community. My teachers, my parents, students, and community support EL and stand with me when I say the removal is unacceptable. I urge the board to vote against this agenda item. Thank you.
Kimberly Richards, Jonathan Weidman, Deborah Davis Cummings.
Good evening. The vetted and highly rated EL curriculum encompasses what students and teachers need. There is no piecemealing from different places or using teachers pay teachers, which often falls short of being rigorous and meeting grade level standards. There appears to be confusion that the curriculum has components that teach critical race theory concepts. A review of the curriculum, visiting classrooms, watching the lessons, and digging into the text would calm these concerns. Therefore, I would be remiss if I didn't ask the board to first visit classrooms where EL is being taught consistently and with fidelity before asking the district to review other curriculums. Our population of at-risk students has shown huge achievement gains, thus narrowing the gap. We are not asking that the curriculum is used in some schools and not others. It should be used in Charleston County across the board. If there is an issue with the curriculum, let's address the issue, not replace it. Furthermore, have you considered how a curriculum change will impact our teaching staff? When a nationally approved curriculum is removed so quickly after countless hours of planning and preparation, money spent on materials, what message are we sending to teachers, students, and the community? When you complain in service of your ego.
Ma'am, sorry.
Sorry, okay, thank you.
I let you go over, but we gotta.
Yeah, sorry, it's okay.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Weidman. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the EL curriculum. As a principal, we had the opportunity to pilot EL last year. Because of that pilot, I have seen increased student engagement and rigor in classrooms across my school. As decisions are made in regards to the EL curriculum, I want you to remember another EL, every learner. Every learner matters, and if we take this diverse curriculum away, we'll be doing them a disservice to all students. I think about what would happen if we opt out of this curriculum and the impact that it can have on our students in the generations to come. I think about the money, the time, energy, and efforts that our teachers, especially my teachers, have put in to effectively implement this curriculum in their classroom, and to take it away will be a slap in their faces. To take this curriculum away will also say to our teachers and students that they do not matter. I am sure that's not the message we want to see into our educational community, especially in a teacher shortage.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here today to speak about the great success that we've seen implementing the EL modules curriculum this academic year. After the implementation of just one module of EL, I'm excited to report that Edith L. Frierson has shown a growth rate of 67% from fall to winter. That's amazing. This is 49% higher than our growth rate at the last year in ELA. Our third grade students have grown at a rate of 118%. I'm going to say that again, 118% since the beginning of our school year. Typical annual growth suggests that students only grow 50% by this point in the year, meaning our third grade students are 68% higher than the expected growth rate. Not only are the third graders growing, but every tested grade level has met or exceeded the 50% growth rate. Consider the damage that you take in removing this curriculum. Thank you.
Ma'am. Parker Jones, Kristen Lewis, Della Taylor. Okay, thank you. Edwina Nelson. I think she said she's sick.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Lewis, and I'm the proud literacy coach at Morningside Middle School. I'm here today to advocate for our scholars who have been learning, growing, and achieving their goals with the quality EL curriculum and instruction. Quote, We face a mounting imperative for our system of public education to ensure that all of our students can access opportunities. We must address the wide achievement gap for our students with the greatest needs. We must provide equitable access to programs in schools that prepare our students for success in 21st century local and global job markets. Most importantly, we must put student learning and well-being first in every decision we make. We must keep students at the heart of our work. These are not my words. These are the words of the Charleston County School District Strategic Planning Team in reference to the Clemson study. Please consider these words carefully. Our schools deserve our very best every single day. Our scholars and teachers deserve our best. Lean into the data, lean into the support you see here, prioritize equity over comfort. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity. My name is Della Taylor. I am at Morningside Middle School. It's middle school as well. I teach 8th grade. I'm also a PLC leader there to implement EL. EL is an exponentially learning curriculum, and it has spoken for itself. Morningside was not where we wanted to be. Everyone in this county in this room knows that. However, with this implementation, we have grown tremendously with the efforts of our teachers and our students. It's a reformed curriculum, but our teachers have reformed and transformed our students and this school. This curriculum has exposed cultural awareness, respect, and social emotional development. And with these emphases, the only theory that I have been exposed to with this curriculum is humanism. The theory that states that the students are the authority in how they learn and that all of their needs should be met in order to learn well. This curriculum is not a race issue, it's a human issue. And through the curriculum, it's inevitable that our future, which are our children, will solve the problems that we can't understand today.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Edwina Nelson. I have 2 children that attend Morningside Middle. I am here in support of keeping the EL curriculum because it is a curriculum that has helped the students progress in their education. This curriculum has shown growth in the children when it comes to their classes and state tests. It also shows growth in the children mentally because it touches on their history and heritage. Also, it helps them with reading and studying different subjects about people that look like them and that's where it helps them mentally. I don't feel like the EL curriculum is based on the critical race theory. This curriculum teaches about some of every race and not just focus on a certain race. This helps the children feel and know that any race can be and do anything in life and in the real world.
Thank you. Rosemary Harold, Natalie Harden, Tara Wood.
My name is Rosie Harold. I am a teacher librarian at James Simmons Montessori. My goal is to offer all children titles that are both windows and mirrors, books that mirror or validate their presence, and books that are windows to offer different experiences. When children do not see themselves in the curriculum, they learn they are devalued and do not deserve to be part of the society at large. This is damaging to all our students. Our classrooms need to be places where all students are welcome and all cultures, races, religions are valued. EL education is a necessary step to rectify this inequity. With the access to diverse titles, students have the ability to think critically, respond empathetically, and respectfully debate and disagree. It is based on best practices in the science of reading. I have a letter here from Pam McKinney in which she states she is an independent thinker, and while she is endorsed by the Moms of Liberty, she makes her own decisions. I hope that is true of her and of all of you. I hope your decision on EL education will be based on equity, its benefits for all students, and the science of reading.
Hi, my name is Natalie Harden. I teach fifth grade at Sullivan's Island Elementary School. This is my 25th year teaching and my 22nd year here in CCSD. I am also here in support of the EL curriculum. EL, in my professional opinion, combines the best research-based practice for reading, writing, and speaking into one. EL curriculum prepares students for the 21st century. Within the lesson, students are closely reading texts of different genres, critically thinking about and discussing those texts, and writing to explain their new learning about relevant topics in today's world. As someone who's in the classroom teaching it every day, I see students building fluency, close reading unfamiliar texts, asking questions, determining unfamiliar words, comprehending texts of different genres, making connections, working with groups, developing empathy for others, and building character traits such as creativity, courage, and cooperation. EL has leveled up the rigor of student engagement in my classroom and my instruction. Students' fluency, close reading techniques, comprehension, their ability to write has improved exponentially. What they are producing for me is something I haven't seen in 25 years. In closing, I'd like to share some sound bites for my fifth graders. EL has really been opening up my mind with all the projects about the rainforest and human rights. It teaches me what I need to know and not what I don't. That thing we do called the fishbowl. We learn more about what other people say. We ask questions to each other. We get ideas to add to our work.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm speaking on behalf of teachers that are afraid to be here because they're afraid of losing their job and they have concerns about EL. There's a CTA, Charleston Teacher Alliance survey. 211 teachers have completed this survey. If anyone wants to go online, you can look at these results and read their responses. And the recommendation from the CTA is the concerns are broad and deep enough to recommend that CCSD drop the EL curriculum countywide. The CTA recommends that each school be permitted to select the state-approved English curriculum that best meets the needs of their students. Here's one of the comments, not my words, from a teacher. Teachers were given zero input in the selection of this curriculum. It is not teacher-friendly nor student-friendly to use. There is not adequate skill development, and my team has had to supplement almost every lesson with skills from other sources. There is a general feeling that knowledge retention isn't happening. Teachers on my grade level feel that we are not teaching any specific skills. This is so far the worst reading curriculum I've encountered in my 30 years of teaching. This curriculum will single-handedly drive teachers out of the profession.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's maintain order. Let's maintain order. Order. I don't want to have to call security. Travis Stinney, Mike Craig, Janine Negroski.
Good evening. My name is Michael Craig. I've been teaching 30 years, 22 years in Charleston County. I had some prepared remarks, but after hearing all the remarks tonight, I must say that you have to remember, teachers teach, curriculums don't teach. Teachers aren't conduits. They just don't read from a script, which is what this is. In the school that I teach and schools that I'm familiar with, without a dedicated curriculum, which we haven't had for 10 years, these teachers are very successful in developing their own curriculum. So my question is, without this EL curriculum, are the teachers in these other schools just lost and inadequate? So what you're telling me is that you had to have this curriculum in order to teach the children. And I find that puzzling, simply because in our schools, where 77% and 80% of the students are reading well. They're doing well in math without a dedicated curriculum. Now, you only have to go to the EL site to see that it's full of racist ideas. And I beg you, go to the site and read it.
Thank you, sir.
Please read it.
And I believe that you're Travis, correct?
Indeed. Good
Thank
day.
you.
I am Travis Dion Bay of the Freehold Namaste, and I am representing for the National Action Network, Southeast Chapter. I'm the Criminal Justice Director. Anyway, for some time, we have been transitioning from an industrial system to a knowledge-based system. Earlier last year, I was looking at the Education Summit where Mackie Raymond was speaking, the programmer for education, was speaking on the fact that we have the data, we have the research, and we have the knowledge of what makes this work. ELA is not critical race theory. ELA has shown results where children are more engaged, they have less incidents in behavior, and they are learning. We need to stand together. They have a sense of pride in them now. There is no reason to remove what is working. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Janine Nagrodsky, and like every story, there's two sides to every story, and I am reading from a teacher's comments who was afraid to come here. Said that EL curriculum is not a literacy curriculum, it's a political agenda filled with propaganda. The lessons are well over an hour, and the teachers are expected to do it in less than an hour, and then told there's a hard stop. You can't teach from a novel and not continue or move on. There's also a second component being forced to do all block. This is an hour's waste of time when students are supposed to do centers. I've been teaching 5th grade for 13 years. Centers do not work in 5th grade. The components is forcing me to do opposite of what I believe is the best teaching practices. When I piloted the curriculum, it was said a liberal curriculum and laughed about being in the South. Why should any curriculum for reading or any type of political agenda? The books the company provides for me are put in my classroom library that I have to provide for my students are filled with pro-LGBTQ, BLM, and illegal immigration. All these themes are not appropriate for 10 and 11-year-olds. I voiced my opinion last year about the activities and the students were forced to use the response. Maybe public school isn't for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie McCarthy, Audrey Lane, Jamon Blake.
Good evening. My name is Jamie McCarthy, and I'm the principal of Lambs Elementary School. I make decisions every day at work. Some are easier than others, some have greater impact than others, yet they're all very important. The golden rule of school leadership is that when you make a decision, you always put the students first. That is our responsibility, and it must be taken seriously. The decision to remove a core curriculum, subject curriculum without considering the consequences is irresponsible. The quality of discussions and student work that EL has created in my school has brought both the instruction and learning to a level that was not present before. We speak about equity and teaching our students to use their voices. We speak about providing our students with diverse experiences and knowledge. That is what EL does. Students are reading diverse, high-level texts, engaging in rich classroom discussions, and providing high levels of quality work. To disrupt this system by removing this curriculum that teachers have spent so much time unpacking, internalizing, and planning will be devastating to our staff that will negatively impact student achievement. If you have concerns about EL, please allow us as educators to make adjustments and tweak the systems instead of completely eliminating. We must make responsible choices for our students at all times because they always come first.
Good afternoon, Chairperson McKinney, Superintendent Kennedy, and fellow board members and all of my community members in this room tonight. I am Audrey Lane, a parent of 2 Black, brilliant and handsome boys in Charleston County School District. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm a darker skinned hued African-American woman wearing a leopard sweater jacket with black pants, and my hair is braided. I acknowledge that the CCS Charleston County School District is located on land once held by the Cusco and Seawee Indians. I acknowledge their custodianship over this land and the sacred nature of the soil on which we sit to the indigenous people of the territory. I also acknowledge that this city was built through the free and exploited labor and enslaved Africans who suffered the horrors of the transatlantic trafficking of their people. I am indebted to their labor and sacrifice. My prior acknowledgements are my personal way of being inclusive and honoring those who came before me. How I identify may not be the way someone else identifies. I honor them still. There is someone listening intently to what I am saying because their vision has been impaired. I pause to honor them. I'm almost done. Truth is proper and beautiful in all times and in all places. That was said by Frederick Douglass. Tonight, the students, our beautiful babies, have spoken. Our educators have spoken. Listen to them and work through the less than 2-year implementation of the EL curriculum.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jamon Blake. I am newly elected District 1 constituent board member. I am here on behalf of my people and my people of Germantown, South Santee, McClinaville, Tiburon, Buckle, Pineland, Owendale, and Seawee. As of today, enough is enough. We have been waiting over 6+ years for our school in District 1. We were originally told that going to District 2, Towanda, was only supposed to be a temporary thing. There's nothing temporary about 6+ years. There's no way our students should have to wake up 2 hours to go to school to another district and come home 2 hours later. There's no way our students should miss out on extracurricular activities because of the drive home. Now, I know life is not fair, but what about our students' education in District 1? All we want is a simple answer. Are we getting our school? Yes or no? We don't even need an explanation with no. If yes, we want to see it in paper when we come back next month. I'm no longer on the outside looking in. I'm on the inside seeing what's really going on. Thank you.
Jamon, we were actually supposed to have a D1 update this evening, so my apologies that it's not going to get done, but hopefully you'll join us next time. Thank you, sir. I've been trying to be a little bit flexible with the cutoff, but let's honor each other's time. We're going to be here for a long time to get through the rest of these, so please keep an eye on the clock. So when it does hit 0, we can move on to the next person and give them an opportunity. Okay. So is it Rennie Forsberg, Lindsay Phillips, Alexandra Belcom?
Hello, my name is Rennie Forsberg, and I was a teacher in Charleston County Schools for 28 years. I am very concerned. I have been listening very carefully, and I have to admit that it sounds as if the EL program may be a great program for certain schools. And I feel that one size does not fit all. Every board member sitting at the dais was elected to serve, represent, and protect all of the children of Charleston County. And this curriculum is being thrust upon teachers. Many of them have written comments. We have 135 comments from 211 teachers. And one of them says the EL program for kindergarten is absolutely horrific. If teachers were given an input on curriculum before CCSD decided to change a perfectly great phonics program, which was called Open Court, the EL curriculum would have never passed to be taught at any grade level. I have been teaching for 17 years, and I know how to teach reading, writing, and phonics to my kids. The EL program is a complete waste of time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Lindsay? Is Lindsay Phillips not here? Okay, well, let's move on to Alexandra Belcom.
Hello. My name is Alexandra Balcom, and I am a 4th grade teacher at Shakora Elementary School. From my personal experience, this curriculum, if executed with fidelity, can be the cause for change we so often speak about within our district. I have firsthand seen how influential this curriculum can positively be in impacting students to fall in love with reading, writing, and leave our students feeling confident in their abilities. Students come to school assuming they are there to build their reading, writing, and speaking fluency. And that is true. But because of EL, they're also learning how to advocate for themselves and ask for help without fear of judgment. They're learning how to be independent and take responsibility for their education. EL stretches far beyond academics. The module's content offers students a chance to explore interesting, engaging, and relative content that has resulted in significant student discourse. EL is not just about teaching students to read and write. It is aiding in our efforts to ensure we're influencing our students to become positive members of society. EL allows students to learn about a world outside of their own while providing students with the opportunity to learn about cultures, opinions, history, science, and ways of life that differs from their own.
Thank you.
My students'
Thank you.
ability to continue their success is in your hands. Let's be on the right side of this thing, please.
Kelly Heron, Cassidy Harris, Marion Gathers. What's your name?
I'm Cassidy Harris.
Cassidy, okay.
All right, my name is Cassidy Harris. I'm speaking on behalf of the middle school students of the Jerry Zucker Middle School in North Charleston. When asked about the curriculum, a resounding amount of my students raised their hand. One of my favorite comments made was, "This curriculum does not just shine the light on one race. Each book shines a light on a different race and what they have to go through." I am a white teacher. I refuse to speak for any minority group because that is not my place. I will never understand what it means to be Black. I will never understand what it means to be Black in America. However, I love my students. I respect my students' cultural backgrounds. I have taken an oath to prepare my students to be global thinkers. I refuse to be a part of a district that silences the uncomfortable parts of history. Frankly, I refuse to be a part of a district that silences the reality of the present. By removing EL, the Board of Charleston County School District is declaring that they do not respect my students. They do not respect their teachers, and that we have people on our board who actively support a movement to silence reality and to rewrite history. Thank you.
Tracy Alter, Angela Page, Melissa Brubaker.
My name is Angela Page, and I'm a fourth grade teacher at Shakora Elementary. This is my second year teaching the EL curriculum. Since using the EL curriculum, I've seen valuable growth in each of my students, both academically and socially. They went from being unengaged and reluctant to fully engaged, participating problem solvers. EL engages all students and achieves this engagement through various activities in the lessons and performance tasks. We speak so much about having our students be college and career ready. Well, EL is it. My students have learned how to collaborate with one another through partner work, group discussions, and other work relating to unit content. Through this work, they have gained confidence in themselves and have learned to encourage one another to persevere through difficult challenges. I have seen these skills carry over to non-academic side of school, where my students are using their problem-solving skills to respectfully resolve disputes amongst themselves and others. EL has turned my students into confident, critical thinkers, and they are also applying these skills to other subjects in their personal lives. EL is rigorous. This rigor causes them to struggle with the work, but it is a productive struggle.
Thank you.
I'm Melissa Brubaker, by the way. Okay, 2 years ago, I had the privilege of serving on the team who researched, explored, and compared a number of different curriculums. It was clear that EL was not only top rated by Ed Reports, but also the most comprehensive and rigorous curriculum resource available. After utilizing the curriculum for just 1 year, significant gains have been made throughout accelerated schools, including my own, North Charleston Elementary. While the lift for initial implementation is heavy, the results are well worth the effort. This curriculum envelops the learning of the whole child and has exponentially increased student engagement. During a recent Cognia visit, the trainer's director of institutional improvement stated that our instruction was some of the best they have seen in this country. And that is thanks to EL. The topics covered are meaningful and thought-provoking for students. Students are learning about worlds beyond their own and building empathy and understanding for others. Not only am I a believer in EL as a principal, but as a parent. My 6-year-old Jacob attends first grade with me. I'm thrilled with the way that he is learning through the EL curriculum this year and while he was in kindergarten compared to my 3 other children. I have made a commitment to my stakeholders that their children's educational experience is what I want for my own children, and that commitment includes EL education now.
Thank you. Anna Grillo, Ademily, I'm sorry, I don't want to say your last name wrong. Megan Williams. What's your name?
Hello, sorry.
Your name.
Anna Grillo. Hello, everyone. I'm a third grade teacher at Goodman Elementary. I am here to talk on behalf of EL, where every single lesson is strategically designed to not only practice standards of reading, writing, and language, but also helps our students build character, perseverance, be empathetic, take initiative, and also to stand up for what they believe is right, which is why most of us are here tonight. I will talk upon Peter Pan, which is the module we are currently studying in third grade. For context, during this module, students are not only introduced to literary elements in classic literature, they are also introduced to history, and deeper meaning. In the very first lesson of this module and unit, students read about the author and historical context of Peter Pan. Here, the framework is set to help them understand that Great Britain in the 1900s was a very different time and place than it is today. This includes a talk of stereotypes during this time period and how that is reflected in the writing style of J.M. Barrie, the author. This brings a deeper meaning and substance to the classic Disney tale. This type of learning is expanding students' mind and educating them on the past. Our students are learning and growing, making uncomfortable topics comfortable to discuss because of their learned empathy, confidence, courage. That is all with gratitude to EL. Thank you.
Thank you. And let me know your name.
Edmeli Portillo.
Thank you.
Dear board, good evening. My name is Edmeli Portillo, and I'm here to talk to all of you about my experience as a trilingual learner. I still remember the first time that I took ELA classes at Morningside Middle School. I remember that when I just arrived into the classroom, my ELA teacher was talking about the book called Summer of the Mariposas, a book that just made me feel curious about it, and when I read it, I love it. Throughout the history, the mix with the real fiction and drama showed me how marvelous it is to learn about characters that made the book an interesting one. About the omnivorous dilemma, it made me change my reasoning about my food choices. When I told my mom all the changes that I wanted to do in my diet, she thought that I was getting crazy. These two books impacted my life, and also they helped me to improve my communication skills to be a member in our daily society. For me, it was important to speak here today because I hear that the school district is not be able to be an ELA curriculum. So thank you so much for being behind our goals, but also let us still with this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Megan Williams, and I am the proud principal of Springfield Elementary School in West Ashley. And I am speaking tonight in support of the EL curriculum. Springfield joined the EL pilot and began teaching the curriculum last January in 2022. Teachers were eager to have a solid ELA curriculum to implement in their classrooms, and they spent countless hours preparing to deliver the curriculum. The preparation is critical in order for successful implementation of such a rigorous and engaging curriculum. Students are reading diverse, high-level texts, engaging in rich classroom discussions, and producing high levels of work. In my 23 years as an educator in Charleston County, I have never seen nor heard such inspiring student work. To pull this curriculum that teachers have spent so much time unpacking, internalizing, and planning will be devastating to our staff and will negatively impact student achievement. Our teaching staff needs to feel valued, they need to feel heard, and they need to feel appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Caroline Nagrowski, Olivia Nagrowski, Anna Mims, Merritt Jones, and Kalila Wilson.
I'm Anna Mims, so I don't see the other people, so I'll go ahead if that's okay.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So my name is Anna Mims, and I'm the proud principal of Mount Zion Elementary on Johns Island, as well as a CCSD parent. Over the past year, I have witnessed reluctant fourth grade writers become inspired by poetry, producing stunningly rich poems, and first graders become astronomers, able to discuss patterns of the sun and moon in such detail that they blew away the staff from the SC State Museum's mobile planetarium. Our students have become deeply interested in the topics they've explored so far, from meteorology to fossils to animal defense mechanisms to human rights. Our fifth grade students have reflected on their experience with this new curriculum. One student shared, "What I like about EL is the real world problems." Another student stated, "What I like is how the students collaborate throughout the units and modules. They help the students by helping them socialize and help them become teams to learn and collaborate about these topics." Our teachers have dedicated countless hours to learn this curriculum so that they can best support their students, and our students are genuinely excited to learn more about the topics they are exploring. Before you make any decisions regarding this curriculum, I implore you to honor our teachers' hard work by visiting our classrooms and speaking to our students and teachers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Kalila Wilson, a graduate of CCSD and 22-year educator, 17 here in CCSD. Today, I would like to speak about African American Studies curriculum. The students who have elected to take this course as an elective course should be allowed, as they themselves want to learn about African American history, or as I like to call it, Black joy. Most of the local board approved curriculum is a celebration of the legacies of kingdoms, individuals, the arts, literature, culinary delights, and cultures of those of the African diaspora. I had the opportunity to participate in the building of this curriculum with both history and English teachers, as well as observe classes. The elective course description states, this examines the history and culture of Africa and African American experience in an interdisciplinary format to include analysis of the unique historical, cultural, and social developments, addresses the literacy and artistic contributions of African Americans to American culture, and oral presentation, critical thinking, reading, and writing skills are emphasized. Thank you for choosing Black Joy.
Ryan LaVille, Joy Brown, Paul Bowers.
Hello, my name is Ryan LaVille, and my daughter is a fourth grader at Stono Park Elementary. Stono Park is a Title I school that had a poor assessment when my daughter started kindergarten. Since the implementation of the EL curriculum, Stono Park's assessment has gone up every year and now matches student progress in some of the best schools such as Buist and St. Andrews Math and Science. My daughter, as a white student, has never been made to feel ashamed of her race nor guilty of her heritage. She still gets taught about Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln, but she also learns about Sojourner Truth, MLK, and Jackie Robinson. She is more knowledgeable for this, and the majority of her classmates that are African American learn that their predecessors were creators of American history, not merely people who are acted upon. To suggest that the teachers are indoctrinating our students is unfair. It makes them leave the practice and discourages young adults from joining the teaching profession. This is unconscionable while we have such a teacher shortage. Thank you.
Thank you. I am Joy Brown, a parent, a public school advocate and parent of CCSD students. Before the agenda was changed tonight, the EL curriculum issue was placed under other instead of strategic education. I wonder if that has to do with it being on the agenda for political reasons instead of educational purposes. Tonight, we have heard the positive impacts from our educators and these amazing students. It usually takes 3 to 5 years to see progress from a curriculum, but we have already seen results in year 1. That says a lot. This is helping our students who are in need of our help and support. Think of the distractions and the upheaval it will bring if you unilaterally remove this program from our schools. The EL curriculum, if it is found to be a bad fit, it needs to be by a group of educators and people instead of a school board who doesn't have knowledge or understanding of the EL curriculum itself. One option has the best interest of our students at heart. The other option to pull it is politically motivated overreach. Choose our students.
Hello, Paul Bowers, parent of 3 students in our school district. In regards to the effectiveness of the EL curriculum, I'm not an expert. I don't know everything about literacy. I defer to the educators here. I'm here rather to oppose the agenda of the so-called South Carolina Freedom Caucus, who sued this school district and another challenging the EL education curriculum, not because of its efficacy or inefficacy, but because the members of this caucus are participating in a cynical project of censorship directed at teachers, particularly those who would work for equity and those who would speak openly about the history and present state of systemic racism in this country. Groups like the Freedom Caucus paint this curriculum and whatever else they despise with the term critical race theory, not to refer to the actual grad level analytic framework, but as a blanket term for concepts that make white people uncomfortable. I would ask you as board members not to listen to the ideologues attacking our schools. Listen instead to your educators. They know what they speak.
AJ Davis, Sydney Van Volk, Stacy Gregory.
Good evening, everyone. My name is AJ Davis, and I'm an employee of Burke High School. I was going to speak about EL, but I think that topic has been covered enough. I want to point out something to the adults in this room and to you at the board. 2023, in the month of Black History, we are literally sitting up here debating a curriculum that includes Black students and other students, and letting them see themselves in their educational journey. We are literally making teachers force themselves to defend something that should not be defended. As board members, you were elected to represent the interest of all students, not a select minority, despite the comfort levels of those who may be opposed to this. Education is political. Politics is the reason why people who look like me are now afforded the opportunity to get a quality education. You as board members have a responsibility to make sure that that trend continues.
Good evening. I'm here to speak on EL as well. Just a few thoughts as a former educator. It's really blatantly clear that this is a difficult curriculum for teachers, for students. And it's not often you're going to have teachers coming up and advocating for harder, more difficult work, but they're doing it because it is beneficial to the students. To quote a second grade teacher who is currently sitting in the overflow room, one of 2 overflow rooms being used right now, makes her sick to her stomach that there are negative comments being said about this curriculum. This is the first time that we have seen the achievement gap start to close since Nancy McGinley was pushed out over a decade ago. It is imperative that we continue to push a program that is helping our students that are most at risk. And anyone who says that this program is CRT based, that is just simply racist malarkey. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stacy Gregory, and I am a Mount Pleasant mother of 3 kids who are currently in elementary, middle, and high schools in District 2. We love our bus drivers. I signed up to speak after seeing item 4G on the agenda. With 65 electives, it's strange that this elective, African American Studies, is back on the agenda to be discussed by this board that also approved this course. With national news, I think we know why. Before you review this course today, I want to remind the board the significance of African American history and tragedy that happened right here in Charleston. If you go up Calhoun Street, right over here, you have Mother Emanuel, a church with deep roots to the Black church in America. It was targeted by a Confederate flag waving white supremacist in 2015, and 9 souls perished. I helped organize food for the funerals. I wept with them. They were not attacked because of their religion, because of the color of their skin. If you go down Calhoun Street the other way, there was once a place called Gadsden's Wharf. Today I saw a cruise ship parked there, but the people who arrived at Gadsden's Wharf were definitely not on a cruise ship, but a chattel slavery ship, because nearly 40% of African Americans in this country today can trace their roots back to Charleston because they arrived on a slave ship. And we, parents, teachers, some principals, some kids, are all going to make sure that our kids in CCSD learn the real history of this town.
Thank you. I want to actually acknowledge her comment and ask Mr. Kennedy, will you please explain why that was added to the agenda since you were the one that put it there?
if you were speaking of the African American Studies course, we wanted to have our one of our high school principals come in and talk about how that course was developed, the importance of it to all of our students who elect to take that course as an elective. So it's Black History Month. That course is Black History, and so we wanted to make sure that we put that at the forefront.
Thank you very much, sir. Tamara Butler, Robin Fountain, Catherine Nagel.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Robin Fountain, and I'm the principal of James B. Edwards Elementary in Mount Pleasant. In a time that amazing teachers are under incredible stress, I think it is essential that we consider the ramifications of changing a curriculum that went through a rigorous selection process, meets the requirements of our accreditation stipulations, fulfills our new cultural competency board policy, and which many teachers have invested 1.5 years of their lives to. I don't know how many of these I will get to, but I have statements from 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade teachers, special education, and our instructional coach. A couple of the highlights are, I have been teaching for 8 years, and until recently, I've always been more passionate and confident in teaching math. Since we've adopted the EL curriculum, teachers have had the opportunity to do so much work and learning around the reading and writing curriculum. That is now my strength instead of math. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I am Dr. Tamara Butler, Executive Director for the Avery Research Center for African American History and Culture. So I want to say I stand behind any teacher who is here on supporting EL. In my work, I am an English educator in the work that I have been doing for 6 years. So I teach and train English teachers. And so whatever English teachers and teachers need, please give it to them. Let them keep what they need. I'm also here on behalf of thinking about African American Studies courses. And I think that I want people to understand that it's a discipline first. More than anything else, it's a field of study, and it offers our students a lens in which to see the world and to see it more clearly. And if we're here and we're all excited about the new museum opening up down the street, I think you need an African American Studies course to have some context for the place that your students are going. A place like Avery Research Center that also has been responsible for training teachers and offering African American Studies as more than just history, as a lens, that you also need context for that too. So I hope that you will be smart in your decision-making for both EL and African American Studies. Thank you.
Hello, I'm a great-grandmother of a child in the CCSD. I'm also here reading on behalf of a teacher from the Charleston Teachers Alliance survey. In 18 years of teaching, I've not been as confused, frustrated, and upset over why this curriculum was chosen. Teachers should have had choice to look at ELA curriculums and choose which one we preferred before this was handed to us to implement this year. The skills block portion of it's awful. Also, the skills block portion of it is also lacks a format that makes sense. There are no materials, very confusing, and is not engaging for first graders. There is no rigor with the program. I've worked 12+ hours over the weekend trying to plan for lessons and still have not figured it out or feel comfortable teaching. I'm really hoping we have a chance to choose a different curriculum because all of this is going to do a hurt at scores. Thank you.
Reverend Nelson Rivers, Latria Hayward, Beverly Gadsden.
I'm standing in proxy for Reverend Rivers. I am Nashonda Hunter, Executive Director of the Charity Foundation and also the mother of a former CCSD student. I urge the board to not repeal or oppose the EL curriculum that has been already proven to be effective. The reading gap between Black students and white students is another form of segregation and a modern day example of racism in public education. To the concern about some children being offended or harmed by the truth of racism and segregation, I ask, where was that concern when Black and Gullah Geechee children were segregated? Or where is the concern now between the disparity in opportunity between Academic Magnet and other schools? I have talked to several principals in our Transformation Liberty Hill Initiative feeder pattern, and they all support the EL. I urge the board to support fair and equitable education. Support the EL. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Beverly Gadsden Birch. New board, I hope new direction. For years, we have been coming before the board, asking for certain things for children that's been left behind. So no finger pointing tonight, but for decades, Black students have been receiving less than the minimally adequate education. But as a new board, you have a choice. And that choice is not privatization or limiting what teachers can teach or cannot teach. What is there to hide? No one likes to talk about race. Are you feeling uncomfortable because it makes you feel uncomfortable? I hope I'm making you feel uncomfortable. Let me close by saying we have a dysfunctional educational system that has cost taxpayers billions of dollars over years. It has not changed. I'm hoping it will change. So you as a board, you can fix it. Let's fix education so that every child will have equal access to a more advanced and challenging education.
Lori Alexander, Jesse Williams, Susan King, Sarah Ancrum.
Good evening. My name is Lori Dane Alexander, and I have been an educator for 42 years, the last 10 at W.B. Goodwin Elementary in North Charleston. I am here this evening to speak in support of my kindergarten students and the EL expeditionary learning curriculum that is currently being used in our accelerated schools, but specifically in my kindergarten class. Through the 3 modules that are taught at the kindergarten level, my scholars are exposed to grade level material in a whole group setting that enables them to think outside of North Charleston, outside of South Carolina, and outside of the United States of America. This is done through a variety of read-alouds or mentor texts that are used to build background information while developing solid literacy skills in the areas of reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Using a variety of protocols, my 5- and 6-year-old students are able to have productive conversations about toys that they designed and built with their parents. If you are serious in honoring the mission statement from CCSD's Acceleration School Strategic Plan, and I quote, "We will empower teachers and school leaders to close the opportunity gap among our community's most vulnerable and chronically underperforming schools and ensure that all students have access to a world-class educational experience," then please allow us to continue to implement the EL curriculum in our classrooms. And thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Congratulations to the new board members. My name is Jesse Williams. I'm here to just kind of share a little bit about my time sharing with the board. Over the past, let's say 10 years, this board, not you all, but the board, CCSD board, has caused a lot of disruption, dysfunction, and unneeded waste of resources. So here's what I mean. For example, we've had a lot of instability in the schools in the way of these studies. We've had the Clemson study, the CFC study, and then after that, we had the shared future studies that's been going on. That's $1 million right there wasted on studies. All right, after that, we had closing of schools. We've had the closing of Garrett, the closing of Lincoln, as we mentioned earlier, the attempted closing of Burke High School. After that, we had turnover of principals in different schools. Mr. Williams right here was taken out of Morningside at one point, or maybe he switched, I'm not sure. So they mentioned Morningside earlier. We've had a lot of turnover in these schools. with the principals. So we need to have successful schools. Let's not turn over our curriculum. We need to save on money. We need to look at reasonable ways to function and not continue to waste our time and resources on these kind of things. So thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Susan King, and I've served as the principal at Sullivan's Island Elementary for 19 years. At Sullivan's, we've worked very hard with staff and parents to unpack EL and transparently delve into questions and concerns regarding views expressed on the EL website and social media versus the actual nuts and bolts of the EL curriculum. I encourage all stakeholders to engage in this deep discussion and better understand what the curriculum is and is not. EL does not tell students what to think about an issue. Instead, it sharpens students' thinking skills and helps them form evidence-based ideas. In education, we talk about the 4 C's of 21st century education: creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking. In the hands of capable professionals, EL handily checks the box for these specific skills that students need to participate fully in the global community. It would be a shame to discard a program that is igniting student learning without first looking at ways to find common ground and understanding. We can all agree that we want our children to love learning, crave reading, and express themselves intelligently through writing and speaking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Ankrum. I'm an instructional coach at Military Magnet Academy. And I wanted to remind the board of the profile of the South Carolina graduate. If you've been to my school, you would see engagement. If you've been to my school, you would see critical thinking and collaboration. If you came to visit my school, you would see habits of character like building empathy, having integrity, and global perspective. If you came to my school to see my students perform in an EL classroom, you would see all of the world-class skills that we're looking for. You would see the life and career characteristics that we're looking for. Our South Carolina graduate, this profile, is it for all students or is it just for some students? Thank you.
That concludes the public comments, everybody that had signed up. I want to say that I appreciate everybody taking the time and being patient and coming and letting us hear what you have to think and your personal experience with it. It's definitely given us a lot of food for thought. So just wanted to say thank you. Is there a motion on the floor to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
A second?
Second.
Meeting adjourned.